Hello and welcome to RGB Addict Reviews. I'm John. Today we're testing out headsets. So I got sent a Fifine Ampligain headset, which is awesome. But somebody asked me, well, what are your other headsets like? So I've got mine and my son's. So we're going to have a look at them. I'll show you them. This is my one that I bought ages ago. It's an Mpow one. It's pretty good. It's metal. It lights up. So we're going to have a look at that one. And then we've got my son's one, which is an Aukey. I think it's a GHX1. So my one, I think I paid quite a bit of money back in the day. It would have been like, I think it was on special at 25 quid. Those you can buy for about £10 now. These were a bit cheaper. These were new, were about 14 quid. And I'm going to try and find a link for you. There's a few floating around for sale. And then obviously we're going to compare them to the Ampligain ones, which I've got here. And obviously these are £44.99, so there's a big jump. But is there a difference? And that's really what we've got to answer today. One thing to bear in mind: this does not work on Xbox because it doesn't have an aux plug on the end, but also because this is powered with electricity. So that's a slight difference, but they will work on the PlayStation. They're PlayStation compatible. It's just not with the Xbox. So which is a shame because I've got an Xbox and not a PlayStation, but hey ho. At some point I might get a new PS5. So we're going to have a look and we're going to see what the difference is. So first of all, I think we'll go with the cheapest one, which is the Mpow. Okay, so I've plugged these in. It's plugged into the PC on the top here. You're wondering what that horrible bit of earthing insulation tape is, but I'll tell you later on. First of all, it lights up, which is kind of cool. It's like a light blue. And the end of the mic lights up. And when you mute it with a little button on here, which has the volume controls as well, it makes a little click and it turns off, which is kind of cool. It's got a very comfy wire. That sounds awful, doesn't it, when I say wire, but it's like a pulley system for the headset with a bit of Mpow branding on. It's all metal. It's got the M logo, but you can buy these unbranded, and I even saw them. I'm sure I saw them in Home Bargains dressed up as something else. So obviously the factory that makes them probably does them for various people. It's got a metal sort of bendy bar with a plastic covering on it. So we're going to try it out. Let's try the mic out. So let me turn this one off. And we'll turn this one on. So that's the microphone on the Mpow. That's directly plugged in, no messing around. And there's a device. One thing I noticed about this, a lot of my friends say that sometimes it sounds a bit rough. But I think that could be to do with the little connector block here. So if I there's a lot of noise when you turn it on and off. Now there's this little fella that I bought off at Amazon, and it's called an Envel. It's basically a USB to aux connector, and apparently this is meant to make. Obviously, this headset you could plug in directly like this, but you can turn this headset into a USB device. So we're going to quickly try that out. Okay, so we want to try some music out. So I don't know whether you'll get much bleed. So if this works, you should be able to hear the music that I'm listening to. Oh, okay. Bass is so-so. The trebles are a bit harsh. Right, I'll knock it back a little bit. So basically, the there's a little bit of harshness with the trebles, a bit of distortion. Um, it's good bass, not too much, and mids are nice. Yeah, sounds good. All right, just don't go too loud. So yeah, so overall, not bad. But I think the build quality for a tenner. I mean, I don't know if the new ones are not as good as the old ones, but build quality seems alright. Um, I think they look kind of janky, which is the fun. That's why I picked them, because they look a bit steampunky and a bit silly. Um, the lighting's alright. It's not, it's not exciting, but it's alright. It's comfy, bit sweaty. I will say, if you have these on for any length of time, you'll start sweating. And the sound is pretty good. I'll play it back and we'll listen to the mic and see what we think. The sound's good. It's all right. It's just a bit harsh on the really high end. Tinniness is a little bit too much. But there's good mids and the bass is pretty good. So yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. It's not too bass heavy. It's good all rounder. Not too bad at all. Okay, so now we are back on the microphone. These are the Aukey, I think they're called GHX1s. They are pretty slick looking. These are my son's ones. This particular one, for some reason, the microphone likes to face down. And I don't know if it's because my kid kept twizzling the thing and it's broken. But yeah, it's got cool lighting on it. I don't actually know. Do the sides match? No, that's kind of cool. They're out of sync from each side, but I quite like that. It's interesting that it has a right and a left on it when the microphone is not detachable, which is kind of funny. It's very, very soft on there. Earphones are pretty good. These get so much abuse from my kids. I will admit, this is the second set we've had because, that what I was chatting about with the green insulation tape. The reason I have it is because when you're playing on an Xbox, the cable basically plugs into the bottom of the Xbox controller, and then obviously you're holding it, but quite often you're holding it on your lap, and it bends the cable over like that. So what I did is I taped with this very ugly tape lots and lots of insulation around it, so that basically you are reminded not to put it on your lap, and two, it doesn't break the cable. It's much, much stronger. So that's why mine has lasted so long. We didn't do that with my son's, and it snapped off. So I need to order a little doohickey for that. Right, so we're going to... there's nothing really much more to say than on the build quality, apart from the only bit that's metal is this metal bendy bit. Which doesn't always like to stay in the same place. But I think these look pretty slick. If you're on a budget and you wanted to look cool on a live stream, I think these would be more than adequate. So, right, let's plug them in and test them out. Okay, so now this... Ooh, wow. That's on my screen, that's peaking quite heavily. I'm just not that bad. A tad. So we're not deafening you all. That's the microphone on this. I don't know what it sounds like because I haven't played it back, but I've heard my son talking when he's playing games and whatnot, and it seems alright. He does have a habit of being a kid and being a bit of a squeaker and whistling and making loud noises, so yeah, it's probably had some hammer, this microphone, but yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's just plugged in directly into the two aux plugs. So we're going to try it now with the USB plug and see what that sounds like. Okay, so I've plugged it now into the USB connector thing, adapter, and we're going to see what the sound sounds like. I'm hoping it does definitely appear that it cleans it up. I'm going to move that away from my mouth a little bit because I think I might be peaking. I think it does definitely clean it up. So if you're using a PC for a few quid, it might be worth buying that adapter. Your PC might be pretty good and have that all built in, but this is a dinosaur that's been recaged. So Yeah, let's try some music. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds good. Good bass. Yeah. Okay, so on these, it's a much more bass heavy experience. The the mids are okay. They're kind of it lacks a bit of depth, much like the other pair, but it's passable. But the best thing about these, that treble is not overpowering at all. We'll try the little mute thing, see how much noise that makes. So I don't know what that was like for you. Let's just play a little bit more. Yeah, pretty good. They're quite loud as well. So they're a bit louder than the there's a good 30% louder than the Mpows. So yeah, pretty good. They're not a lot of money. I'll put a link in. It's an Aukey product, which I do like Aukey stuff. I've got an Aukey webcam which I've reviewed before, and this is an Aukey keyboard. The interesting bit is you can buy this keyboard as not Aukey, and I think you can buy this headset as not Aukey. But they seem to vet the products and pick the best one. So yeah, would I recommend these over the Mpow? Definitely. Spend a few quid more. And buy these, although like I've had 2 pairs of these because my kids abused them, and those other pair of mine, I'm a bit more careful with mine. I think these are probably as tough as those, but yeah, much lighter on the head than the Mpows because there's no metal in them. Yeah, they're all right, and I love the way that it looks. So if you're doing a live stream, if you're a streamer, these would be pretty good. So now we're going to test the final pair. Alright, so now we've got the Fifine Ampligame headset. I've reviewed these before. I've done a more in-depth video about them. They're different kettle fish. These are metal. These cups are all textured, really nicely put together. The colour is awesome, and it's got a detachable microphone, which you can just unplug like that. So if your kid wrecks it, or you want to use them just as a headset, you can do. You can. The quality of this is better. It's much more robust. If you bend it into place, it's going to stay there. And yeah, they're really nice, very comfy. I used these for a live stream the other day, and I was amazed at how comfy they were. I wasn't taking them off my head and moaning and sweating and whatnot. So we're going to try this out. So I'm going to swap over now. We're going to mute this bad boy. And now we're running off the microphone on the headset, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So there's no anything extra plugged in. It's just straight USB. It's worth remembering you can't use it on Xbox, but it will work on PS5. You've got this little fella here which does your 7.1 when you're gaming, so you can hear somebody creeping up behind you, and it does work. You've got your equalizer, which you can change the way the music sounds. One of them's really nice and bassy if you're enjoying music in the background, and it's got a little mute button, which turns the mute light on and off. Yeah, it's just well made. This is all textured as well. It's all braided cable. The other two are braided, to be fair, but the cable's a lot thicker on this. So let's play some music. So I'll play what I played before. Let's see what it sounds like. Oh wow! So, ooh, that sounds good. Right, that's only at 34% volume. Wow. Amazing. They are very, very loud. Very loud. they're easily 100% louder than either one of those. Really, really good. I know I didn't dare press the 7.1, so if you're just listening to music and you turn that on, it gets loud. But if you use it when you're gaming, yeah, you can hear things behind you and you get the left and right sound. So, yeah, massive difference. So if you're a streamer and you're streaming games and you just use headsets, I would recommend these, and I would recommend them for the reason that the mic is just super lush. The other reason is the sound's really good, and I think they look nice as well, and they're very, very comfy. There's a distinct difference between, in answer to the question, I guess, which is it worth spending that extra money for a better headset? The answer is yes, absolutely. Like sort of price versus function, I think the Aukeys are really good. They're a good middle ground, but these are there's such a jump. It's not really a fair comparison because these are that much better that they're over here somewhere. I feel like these compete with £100 pair or £100 pair of like gaming headset. I've got some Anker Soundcore earphones, and they're noise cancelling. They're everything. You can't use them for streaming because the mic sucks so badly. But you can use them on a day-to-day thing. The sound of these is almost the same as the sound of those, although they have an option to just blow your eardrums out with bass. These are very bassy. If you turn the bass mode on, the equalizer is quite clearly different for each one. There's a high, a middle, and a bass. It's definitely worth doing. So, yeah, I'll put a link to all of these in the bottom. Thank you, Fifine, for sending these. They are a real, you've really spoilt me. The tech that we've used today, this is the Fifine K658 microphone, a condenser mic that they sent me, which is wicked. It's got lights on it and everything, and sounds incredible. I'm using a Logitech Stream Cam and two very janky ring lights that I bought at Home Bargains with stands. Yeah, that's it. That's as much as I can tell you today. But I hope you found this video interesting. If you want to come and join one of my live streams, it's over on my Lord's Brewing Co channel. Also, I have a new channel called Nerd in Motion, which is all about cars and aeroplanes and all the kind of stuff that I'm interested in. It's like a real hobby channel, but it's more getting out there, where this is like I can do this on a rainy day. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. But yeah, when it comes to money and headsets, there's obviously a distinct difference. Please like and subscribe, and stay safe, have fun, keep smiling.